welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm going to be looking at the 10 Commandments of game design for the Intellivision Amico. And I saw this on Facebook actually. Tommy Tallarico himself, I think, put it out there. And I just thought, I was reading it, I thought it was kind of interesting because I've been seeing a lot of, postings, a lot of talk, a lot of videos. Everybody's going on about the Amico. Of course, there was, some of the backlash from some of the YouTubers that think that this is a huge waste of time and that the Amico's never going to fly. And, even like YouTubers, like people like Pat the NES Punk, for instance. I was watching, those videos back and forth between kind of like Tommy and Pat. And, Pat's kind of on that stance of it's not, there's no market for it. Whatever. So, I've been following his posts, like Tommy Tallarico's posts, his tweets, and all that stuff. And some game developers are asking him, how can I get a dev kit or whatever they call it, a developer's kit, so they can start developing their own games and all that stuff. And one of the things that he pointed out was that the dev kit is free and that you don't pay for it. If you are a serious game developer, you can actually just let them know you're interested in, creating games for the system. They will go through their own little quality control to make sure you're legit. And if you are, they give you everything for free. You don't have to pay for it. So that's kind of cool. So anyways, yeah, let's run through these 10 commandments of game design, because I thought this was interesting that they created this. So, the first one. Every game must be rated E or E10. Now, I know this has got a lot of feathers ruffled because people are like, oh, so that means it's all going to be kids' games. It's just going to be like baby games and all that stuff. I don't believe that that's the case. Most of the games that I grew up playing, back in the day on my Atari, my Intellivision, my, Commodore 64, I think a lot of those games would have been rated E for everyone. Because it wasn't all just, blood and guts and violence, but there was a lot of fun games thrown in there. So, okay, sure, I came across the odd game that probably had a few, bloody scenes. And, there was a game called Strip Poker, where you could actually, at the end, see this kind of pixelated 8-bit looking naked woman. So yeah, that wouldn't pass, but I mean, the majority of the games I've ever played probably would pass. Like Burger Time, for instance, Astro Smash, Space Invaders, all those classic games, Pac-Man, all great games that would totally pass for E for everyone. So I don't see that being an issue. And the thing is, if you do want your violence, if you do want your Call of Duty, if you want all that stuff, it's still there. PlayStation 5, I think, is coming out. Xbox 2 is coming out. So they're going to still be there. You don't need the Intellivision for that. That's not what the Intellivision's for. So let's go on to the second commandment. Every game must be easily playable without the need for complicated or long instructions. Now, I love this one because I am guilty for not reading instructions. In fact, I got this game. I just got this the other day. Maybe last week. This is an Intellivision game called Safecracker. I've never played this in my life. But I thought the graphics looked good. I thought the game looked cool. And I wanted to have it. Now, I'm debating, do I rush into this and plug it into my Intellivision and see if I can figure it out, or do I actually sit down and read the instruction manual? Always been a thing with me, and even today, like when I get brand new games, I always question, do I want to read the instruction manual? Do I want to go on the internet and look up a video on how to play it? Or do I just want to rush into the game? Oftentimes I enjoy rushing into the game. I like to know that maybe there's going to be some parts of the game that are intuitive, maybe not. But I think maybe that was just the way that I was brought up with video games, is that yeah, for some of my Intellivision stuff there was manuals, but for a lot of my Commodore 64 games, which is what I mostly played, I would say, I had no manuals. I just had a disc and the game on there. And even in the Nintendo days, I didn't have every manual every time I got a game. In fact, I rented games, and half the time the rental store didn't give you a manual. So you had to jump into these games. So I really like this. I like that they're going to make it intuitive. They're going to make the game that you can play it and you kind of know what's going on. You don't need to read complicated manuals. You don't need like in-game tutorials that take half the game to read. So I'm on board with that. 3. Every game must be balanced to allow players with very different ability skill levels and still have fun. Now that I totally am on board with, and it's not because I'm a bad player, even though I'm not the greatest player. I think people have more fun when you're playing a game where there's kind of an equal playing field. If you ever have gone to a tournament or competition or played against other people who are always better than you, and they always beat you at every game, and no matter what, you can never beat them. Maybe on those one lucky day where you rolled a better number, or you got somewhere where you actually beat that person. You know, but in most cases, when that happens, you kind of don't have a good time. I used to play card games. I used to play collectible card games, games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I played all these card games. I used to go to tournaments and stuff. And yeah, I would know the sting of going there and not being the better player and always losing. Every time I faced an opponent, I'd lose. And it sucks. I mean, it sucks to always lose. And playing games is the same thing. If I was sitting down with my friend and we were playing a two-player game, and every time he beat me, every single time, you're not going to have fun. And neither would be the rest of the people if there's always like one skilled player and everybody else is just meh. So I'm kind of I'm intrigued about this. I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but I'm intrigued about it. So let's go to the number 4. Every game must rate 7 out of 10 or above on Intellivision's quality control scale. Okay. I don't really know how they're judging things and how they're scaling it, but it's kind of cool that they're putting a level of control on there. They're not just like, hey, go nuts, big a game, hurry up, let's get it to production. I don't think Tommy Tallarico is really interested in just pumping out games to get more coins in his pocket. I don't think he needs it. The guy drives a Ferrari, okay? He doesn't need it. So I think it's more of a quality control. I think he just wants to make sure that they don't end up with a lot of shovelware or junk like crap on their system. And hopefully that works out. 5. Every game must cost less than $10. Okay, that I'm okay with too. I mean, sometimes you feel okay paying a little bit more money for a game, but I seriously don't know the difference. Like when I go into the store and I see a game that's $70 and a game that's $30 and a game that's $10. As far as enjoying yourself and playing that game and having fun, in most cases, it's the same across the board. Whether you paid 70 or 10 for that game, or it was free and you downloaded it for free, I don't think that has anything to do with it, right? So I think that's more of a marketing thing and why they decide to charge, $70. And that's kind of one of the things I'm kind of nerved about the Switch, is that a lot of the games, like say the Zelda, the Mario games, and all the the big titles, they're all like $70. Well, here in Canada, anyways, they're like $70 upon release, which is a lot of money. So I'm kind of happy to see that number. Number 6. Every game must support the official Intellivision controllers. I like that too. I can't say I've had any real issues with that, but I do remember, say, on the Atari back in the day, wanting to play games like Kaboom, and I didn't have those paddle controllers, and you can't play it without the paddle controllers. But I mean, that's a minor thing to me. In most cases, you would always expect that the system that you get, any game that's made, is going to work. But then they did make some games that were like only worked with this one controller, or light gun, or whatever. So it's kind of cool that he's decided on that too. 7. Every game must be 2D or 2.5D 3D models, okay, but no free roaming 3D worlds. Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm a 2D person. I'm the first to admit when I play 3D games, I'm totally lost. I've been that way ever since I started playing 3D games back in the early days, like on the N64 and stuff, and even on the PC. If I got into any kind of 3D world, my brain just I'm a 2D guy. I'll admit it. I enjoy 2D games. I don't have any problems. I don't care about, better graphics and realistic look. I just want to have fun. So let's go on to number 8. 8. Every game must be an Intellivision exclusive. Even ports must be unique in some way. Okay, so this is a business thing. This is more of a business decision. So basically, any game that's made for the Amico will only be on the Amico. And what he means by ports is, say, Burger Time, for instance. Their version of Burger Time will not be ported onto another system. So you can't play the exact same Burger Time on the Amico and then go and play the exact same game on, say, the Xbox or, PC Engine or whatever system you have hooked up at the time. It's not gonna be the same. So whether that means tweaking of the graphics, tweaking of the gameplay, adding extra stuff to it, I'm okay with that. I mean, that doesn't bother me. Frankly, it is weird to see, multiple systems all having the same game. It's one thing that I've constantly ran into. I got several different games like Pitfall or whatever that run on multiple systems. Cubert, Pac-Man. And it's like, I have it on the Atari, I have it on the Intellivision, I have it on the ColecoVision, I have it on the Nintendo, I have it on the Commodore 60. So I kind of get that. Okay, so let's go to number 9. No in-game purchasing, ads, loot boxes, or DLC. Now, I don't know what half of that stuff is, and there's a reason for that. I'm an old school gamer. I'm a retro gamer. All the games I play, or majority of the games I play, come on a cartridge. You shove it into your system, and you play that game. Now, I do have a Switch. I have a Wii, but I don't have a whole lot of games. I don't frequent the website and download games all the time. And I don't get into games that require you to constantly download, patches and new quests and new stuff. I just don't get into that. So to me, whatever. And frankly, the idea of having to pay money to advance yourself, to advance your character, to get somewhere in the game, I think that's disgusting, and I think a lot of gamers do. They find that kind of gross. that this little kid can just get somewhere because his father puts in a credit card number, and now he's got every single weapon and he can kill everybody. That's just, I don't know. To me, that's not video games. That's just me showing off because I got more money than you. And what is money like? Whatever. Alright, moving on to the last one, which is the 10th commandment. Every game must incorporate local multiplayer, couch co-op, or versus mode. Now, this is the big thing that Tommy is trying to push. And I've heard him say it multiple times. I've watched a lot of his interviews, and even on my interview I had with him, his whole thing is cooperation, getting people together physically in the same room, people playing the same game together, not pulling out their cell phones and like, oh yeah, I'm playing this game, if you go and you play it on your cell phone, we can have a duel. This is all about, we're all in the same room, we're all tapped into the same screen, and we're all holding controllers, and we're all playing together. This is what he wants to do. This is what he wants to accomplish. And, this is where he's targeting a completely different market. And I think this is where a lot of people are getting confused, because they're saying, why would I want the Amico when I can just buy a PlayStation 4? I can buy a Xbox One. I can buy, I can get a Raspberry Pi. I can do this. I can just play mobile games. But that's not the same experience. He wants this for the experience. And I think that's what most of us Intellivision lovers did in the past. We love these things for the experience, not because, I can do this on my phone, and I can, it wasn't all about playing by yourself. It was about playing with other people. In fact, a lot of the original Intellivision games were two-player games for that very purpose. Anyways, yeah, that was my ramblings. I just wanted to talk about this. I saw this up on, this whole thing right here. I saw that on Facebook. I thought it was cool. I read it. I kind of had a chuckle to myself. This is not about being serious. This is about having fun. This is what video games are for. I don't take video games as a serious thing. I take video games as a fun thing, and I enjoy them, and I play them. And a lot of the people I talk to are the same way, so I thought people might kind of get a kick out of this. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think of wherever they are, the 10 Commandments, If you follow Tommy Tellerico on Facebook or on Twitter, or you go on the Intellivision, Facebook groups and all that stuff, you'll probably have seen this already. So, throw some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.